The village of Blackwood Hollow was a place shrouded in myth and shadows. Nestled deep within a forest, its few inhabitants clung to age-old traditions, rarely venturing beyond its misty borders. The moonlight always seemed to fall differently there, silver and spectral, as if unveiling secrets too ancient to comprehend. For years, tales circulated about the enigmatic grave whisperer, a figure said to haunt the burial grounds at the edge of the village. Some claimed to have heard faint whispers when passing the cemetery late at night, as if the graves themselves were desperate to share their secrets. Most dismissed it as folklore. But among the elders, a chilling belief persisted: the whispers belonged to the restless dead, bound by an ancient curse. It was in this eerie setting that Amelia Winters found herself stranded on a rainy October night, a journalist chasing urban legends. She'd heard about Blackwood Hollow's grave whisperer and saw an opportunity for a story that could finally cement her career. Her car had sputtered and died near the forest's edge, leaving her with no choice but to seek shelter in the village. The innkeeper, a stooped man named Elric, greeted her with wary eyes when she arrived drenched and shivering. His reluctance to offer her a room didn't go unnoticed, but she chalked it up to small-town suspicion of outsiders. As he handed her the keys, he muttered, "Stay inside after dark." "Don't wander." Amelia nodded but felt the tug of curiosity. After a restless hour in her room, she ventured out into the rain-soaked streets, her camera tucked under her coat. The cemetery lay at the far end of the village, a maze of crumbling headstones and towering oaks that groaned in the wind. As she approached, an unnatural stillness settled over her. The rain seemed to hush, and the air grew colder. The whispers began faintly, soft, indistinct murmurs that sent chills down her spine. She stepped closer, the beam of her flashlight flickering as if the very atmosphere resisted her intrusion. "Who's there?" she called, her voice trembling. No answer came, but the whispers grew louder. They seemed to emanate from a single, ornate tomb at the center of the cemetery. Its surface was covered in strange, weathered carvings that resembled no language Amelia had ever seen. She reached out to touch it, and the moment her fingers brushed the stone, the whispers ceased abruptly. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of her own rapid breathing. Then, as she stepped back, the ground beneath her seemed to tremble. A cold hand shot out from the earth, gripping her ankle with unnatural strength. Amelia screamed and stumbled, falling into the mud as the grip released her. When she looked again, the ground was undisturbed. She fled back to the inn, her heart pounding. Elric was waiting in the dimly lit lobby, his expression grim. "You didn't listen," he said, his voice heavy with reproach. Amelia struggled to explain what she had seen, but Elric cut her off. "You've awakened something that should have been left alone." Despite her fear, Amelia couldn't let go of what had happened. The next day, she sought out the village historian, a woman named Lenora, who lived in a small cottage lined with shelves of dusty tomes. Lenora listened intently as Amelia recounted her experience, her eyes narrowing with concern. "There's a story," Lenora began hesitantly, "about a man named Elias Thorne. He was a scholar, obsessed with the occult, who lived here centuries ago. The villagers accused him of practicing dark rituals and banished him to the forest. But before he disappeared, he cursed the village, vowing to return through whispers in the grave. That tomb you touched is his." Amelia felt a surge of dread but also intrigue. "Do you believe it's real?" Lenora hesitated before nodding. "Many have heard the whispers, but none have dared to confront them. If you've stirred Elias, he won't stop until he gets what he wants." "What does he want?" "No one knows," Lenora said gravely. That night, Amelia returned to the cemetery, this time armed with a digital recorder and the faint courage born of curiosity. The whispers started as soon as she stepped through the gate, clearer this time. They seemed to form words, fragments of a language she couldn't understand. She approached Elias Thorne's tomb again, the recorder capturing every sound. As she circled the structure, she noticed something she hadn't seen before, a hidden panel carved into the side. She pressed it, and the tombstone shifted, revealing a narrow staircase leading into darkness. Against every instinct, Amelia descended. The air grew colder with each step, the whispers now echoing all around her. The staircase ended in a small chamber illuminated by an otherworldly glow. At its center lay a blackened book on a stone pedestal. The whispers crescendoed as she approached, the language now incomprehensible but oddly mesmerizing. As she reached for the book, a shadowy figure materialized before her, a man with hollow eyes and a gaunt face. Elias Thorne. His lips didn't move, but his voice filled the chamber. "You seek answers," he said, his tone both mocking and mournful. "But answers come with a price." Amelia froze, the weight of his gaze pinning her in place. "What do you want?" she managed to ask. Elias pointed to the book. "Release me." Fear and fascination warred within her. She opened the book, its pages blank at first. But then words began to appear, ancient symbols that seemed to pulse with life. As she read aloud, the room trembled, and Elias let out a bone-chilling laugh. Suddenly, the whispers stopped. Silence enveloped her as the glow faded, leaving her in complete darkness. When she stumbled out of the tomb hours later, the cemetery was eerily still. Back at the inn, Elric and Lenora waited for her, their expressions a mix of relief and dread. "What did you do?" Lenora demanded. Amelia hesitated, unsure how to explain. I released him." The two villagers exchanged a look of horror. Before they could respond, a piercing scream echoed through the night, a sound that didn't seem entirely human. The curse of Blackwood Hollow had only just begun. In the days that followed, strange phenomena plagued the village. Shadows moved independently of their sources, and the whispers now filled every corner of the hollow. Desperate for a way to undo what she had unleashed, Amelia delved into Lenora's books, uncovering fragments of Elias Thorne's rituals. The answer lay in confronting him once more, not to release him, but to bind him forever. Armed with the knowledge, she returned to the tomb one final time, the villagers watching from a distance. The confrontation that ensued was one of fire and fury, a battle of wills that tested Amelia's resolve. When dawn finally broke, the whispers ceased, and the village was silent once more. But Amelia knew the quiet wouldn't last. Some secrets, once uncovered, refused to be buried again.